everybody, and welcome back, and Happy New Year to you, and a Merry Christmas if that was your chosen celebration over the festive holidays. So today, back onto the build for the Thunderbike. What we've got today is, I've got all the pads. There's a set already fitted in there, in that one, sorry, because I just wanted to test that they were free to fit. We're going to get the pads in, get all the calipers fitted on dry, put the new lines on. In there are some new banjo bolts and copper washers for the front brake setup. I'm going to put standard front master cylinder on for now, because I'll probably do a separate series on modifications, and then standard front clutch cylinder as well. Got the start switch to go on and standard throttle tube. So again, I'm putting the standard on for now, but I may order a Domino quick action throttle, just so I've got the complete assembly. Pads wise, I'm using SBS dual carbon for the fronts, and then just some cheap sintered ones for the rear caliper, because I don't tend to really use it when I'm racing. So first things first, we're going to fit the clutch master cylinder, and we'll connect in the clutch line. So let's get on with that. Okay, so that's the clutch lever all connected up to the clutch hose. I had to take the bar out because you can't get into this lower bolt on the clutch lever on the standard fit setup, so that's put in on standard. So as I said earlier at the start, I may modify this and I might go to a shorter lever, in which case I'll probably cut off the little stub and just move this further down as well, just to get it away from the center there. New set of washers, because they're supposed to be once only use. You can, technically you could re-soften them by heating them up and using them again, but it's pretty pointless in doing that, so I tend to just put fresh ones in every time. Okay, so that's clutch lever on. Let's move on to fit in the front brake. So we'll get the pads into the calipers and then get the calipers fitted to the bike. Okay, so both calipers now fitted. The caliper bolts are done up to 40 Newton meters, so they're nicely torqued up and ready to go. What I'm going to do now is get the front master cylinder on, so we've got everything in place to be able to run the lines to. So let's get that front master cylinder on now. Okay, so front master cylinder is on. That has a little locating dowel underneath here, which this just bolts into, slots into. Two 6mm cap head Allen bolts, just done up to 10 Newton meters. So now that I've got everything in a place ready to put the lines on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the lines from each caliper up to the master cylinder and then just dry fit everything. So let's go grab the lines. Okay, so the lines are pre-made up. They can only go on one way, so you'll see that there's a 90-degree bend in the banjo connection there. That goes direct onto the caliper, and then the flat ends go onto the master cylinder. So let's open that bag and get these lines in the right place. Okay, so we've got the lines onto the master cylinder all the way down. You'll notice there's a little stop on the caliper, and this is to hold the brake line in place when you tighten it up. So these are a 14mm bolt on the top of here. You know, the banjo bolt, sorry, it's got a 14mm head on it. I'm just going to get those tightened up now, and then we'll leave that ready to... What I tend to like to do is do all the fluids all at once. So I'll do the water, the engine oil, all the brake fluids, and bleed them through, the clutch fluid, all at the same time, so I know it's all done. So I'll do a separate video on commissioning the bike once we've got everything in place and tightened up. Okay, let's tighten up these banjo bolts. Okay, so we just need to get the pads into the rear caliper now, so we can get this mounted. Okay, so that's now ready to mount. So what we'll do is go stick that on the bike, and we need couple of new banjo washers. For the new line. Okay, stick that on the bike. Okay, so now in, the two bolts were done up to 25 Newton meters with a little bit of Loctite on them, because I don't tend to take these off very much. So what I'm now going to do is run the brake line back to the rear master cylinder. Okay, so that's the rear brake line fitted. Goes up through the hugger, comes back behind the engine between the clutch cover, and then onto the rear master cylinder. As I said, all dry at the moment, so we're going to leave those dry. Okay, next thing to do, we'll get the throttle and the starter switch onto this side here. Okay, let me grab those. Okay, using the standard clip-on, you'll see there's a little locating hole just there, and there's a little pin that sits as part of the throttle assembly. So all I do to get it in there is I loosen it up so I can open this casing right out, and we just put it up, and it should go straight in, and we'll just tighten that up quickly. Throttle cable runs underneath the master cylinder reservoir, comes down through between the fork leg and the headstock. Then we just push it down in the gap between the radiator and the frame. Then all we need to do, put it onto the throttle actuator, completely loose at the moment. Just wrap it around there, and then what we need to do is just put the throttle cable into the throttle body mount. So let me just do that, because it will be difficult to film that at the same time. Okay, so the throttle cable's now in. It's into its locating piece on the throttle body, and then you've got the throttle cam that the cable's just sat in at the end there. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the setup of the throttle again till I do the commissioning of the bike, so that's just in its position ready to go. But you know, we have a working throttle. it's just not been set up yet. Okay, last thing for today, I'm just going to get the starter switch fitted into its location on the handlebar there. So the starter switch just has 2 screws in it that hold it together, but what you got to be careful of is the cable runs in on the back side of the actual switch. So what I'll do is I'll get this into position now. Okay, so start stop switch is in place. Okay, you just see the setup now. Throttle going across, the throttle cable going across the top of the master cylinder. The kill switch sits in there. Cable will run to there where the last part of the loom needs to come in. So that's it for today. So we've got the brakes on dry fit, there's no fluid in it. Front calipers, new lines. We've got the front master cylinder in. We've got the clutch master cylinder in. The throttle tube is in and ready to go. Kill switch. And then if we go to the back, we've got the rear brake in and the hugger. And our rear master cylinder is now connected as well. Still undecided about this hugger, but it's in there for now, so it will stay there till I decide what I'm going to do. Okay, thanks for watching once again. If you like the video, chuck us a like down below. If you've got any questions or comments, then feel free to add them down below as well, and I'll try and answer them as quickly as possible. And if you're not a subscriber, we'd really welcome you to the channel. We hit the magic 100 over the Christmas period, so we'd really welcome some more subscribers if possible. Plenty more content to come. We've almost got to the point where we finish this build, so I've got to get onto the RS250 and get that ready for the season. Yeah, so thanks for watching. See you on the next video. Bye.